Hi, I'm Rachel Gregg, the crew liaison with the Montana Film Office, and this is Crew Call. Today on Crew Call, we're headed to the Paradise Valley to meet one of Montana's top location scouts and managers.
Hey, my name is Rob Story. I'm a location scout and manager. I've been scouting and managing commercials and TV and film jobs since the 70s now. I'm standing here in Paradise Valley on our family ranch. Shot an awful lot of commercials and movies and TV shows here. Probably the first movie of any note that I was involved in was shot up in this area was Rancho Deluxe with Sam Waterston and Jeff Bridges. I actually took care of the location manager's kids, so I was involved as a teenager. That was my very first movie and my first exposure to the business. On Sam Peckinpah's word that he'd get me some work in Los Angeles, and Warren Oates, another one of the actors that lived in my neighborhood, I hitchhiked out to Los Angeles in 1976. I got a job down at the Long Beach Airport, which got me into a half a dozen TV shows and movies and such, things like Baba Black Sheep and 1941 and The In-Laws, and I fielded the helicopter for MASH. I moved back in the late 70s and went to film school at Montana State University. After I finished up there, I went back to Los Angeles and lived out there well into the 90s. And probably about 93, 94, I started coming back to Montana. I initially came back as an art guy. I'd been working prop mastering and working as an art person. I had initially started out as a location guy, but I kind of got tired of being the paid liar. So I moved home from Los Angeles and did a couple art jobs, and then realized that I could really make location scouting my own deal here. I could do it the way I wanted to do it here. I could, tell people worst case scenarios, and this is what's going to happen. We're going to be a big circus. We're going to show up at your ranch, and it's going to look crazy, but it'll be fun. Whereas in Los Angeles, they'd hire me as a young location scout to tell the people, oh, there's only going to be 4 or 5 vehicles and a handful of people, and in reality there was going to be 100 people and 40 vehicles, and it was going to mess up their whole neighborhood. And so I moved home in the 90s and started doing locations out here, and really found my place in the location industry having moved back from Los Angeles. I really found my own way and how I would go about it. And part of it was just full disclosure, telling people exactly what was going to happen, how it was going to go down, but they're going to have a good time doing it. At this point, I've been doing locations for over 3.5 decades. Essentially, I'm the first guy in. I'm the guy that meets with the farmers and the ranchers, or if I'm in LA, the guy that meets with the building owners, and I explain myself as to what we're doing, where we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, how much is involved as far as parking and how many crew members are going to be there, and what it pays. And I often, when I go to ranches out here, they ask me, well, how do you figure out how much it's going to pay? I said, well, I squeeze them till they squeak, and I back off just enough that they feel like they got a deal. And that's really, location scouting and managing it's really hard to put your finger on exactly what it is that you're doing right. But if you're doing it right, you'll continue to work. And 3.5 decades have proven that this is something I do, and I do fairly well. Well, I think that one of the interesting things about being a scout is that after a while, people, directors, producers get to know who you are. They understand your qualities and your abilities, and they will call up and say, okay, this is the project we've got. This is what it entails and who's involved. And they in about 10 or 15 minutes conversation, they describe everything that they're looking for. And some reason I have an ability to be able to take that all in and say, you know what, where we really need to go is such and such a place. That'll work really good. And oftentimes it's not just the look, it's also the logistics. Can we put a crew of 60 people into an area? There's enough places for them to stay. There's a lot of logistics that go into the location scouting, and the initial phone call is based on how far do you want to drive from the airport? 30 minutes? 45 minutes? Can you afford 2 hours? So a lot of it is sussing out exactly what they can afford to do, what they want to do, what their primary goal is and what their biggest shots need to be. Once that's accomplished, I go out and scout for it. And I put it all together. I send links off to the clients and the director and so forth, and then they mull over it for a couple days. Having mulled over it, then they start having me go out and actually tie these things down, find out if the owners are willing to let us shoot there, describe to the owners exactly what needs to take place, and those kind of things. Once I get that figured out and managed, the shoot itself is oftentimes it can be good, it can be bad, but the bottom line is during the shoot, you're just basically trying to protect the properties and make sure that the clients get what they need to get. This particular location that we're standing on, I've done dozens of car commercials, mostly truck commercials, but on the ranch itself, I've done everybody from Hummers to Ford and Toyota and GMCs. I've also done a lot of rock videos up here and country music videos, tons and tons of Marlboro, just all kinds of commercials. I like to drive. There's some people that spend money on therapists. If I have issues and troubles, I get in my car and I drive and I look for things. In fact, my family is always complaining. We call it a fun Sunday. Because when we go out, I'm not just going out, I'm looking for new locations. I'm stopping to take pictures because the light's just right. That's a fun Sunday with the family. So at this point, I can't even imagine doing anything else.
Thank you for tuning in to Crew Call. If you want more information on all things production related in Montana, visit montanafilm.com.